Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. It's one I've been planning for a while now, as you guys always ask me to do it. It's been hard to plan because I actually have the worst memory ever, and it's actually really hard to put your entire life story into under 15 minutes. I've most probably forgot things and I can't even remember what I did yesterday, but I'm going to try my best. And I'm going to tell you the story of a little baby who was born at 4 PM in Ninewells Hospital in Dundee. It all started on the 19th of May 1997 when my mum, whose name is Ruth, gave birth to me. I was such a chubby baby, weighing in at 9 pounds. When I was 3 months old, my family and I moved to a little place called Newborough. We moved into a 5-bedroom house with a huge garden, and I absolutely loved it. My granny and granddad always used to visit us and play with us. Sadly now my amazing granddad has passed away. I will always cherish the incredible memories that we made together. And here's my family: my mum, who has beautiful red curly hair, my amazing dad, my big sister Katie, who I'll always look up to, and me, and I look a bit like a penguin here, but hey ho. And this is me eating snails because apparently that's what I used to do, and my mum used to get so angry at me. And then there was the first holiday I ever went on, and it was for the turn of the millennium, and we went with the whole family: me, Katie, mum, dad, auntie Sharon, Chloe, Lauren, Scott, granny Maggie and grandad Jim, and we went to Florida. We spent the night of the change of the millennium in downtown Disney, and we watched a fireworks display that was organised by Britney Spears and Will Smith apparently. But I slept through the whole thing, so pretty much usuals for me, and mum used to dress me and Katie in literally identical outfits, so we always got mistaken for twins because we were pretty much the same size at that point. And on the journey home, we all managed to get chickenpox. And that's all of us with chickenpox, and I missed out like 2 of us, but there's mum not looking too happy. And then September 2000 came around, and on the 22nd my little angel and my bestest friend Amy was born, and she's actually my little sister, if you guys don't already know, but that is me and Katie being not too happy about Amy being born. And around this time was when I discovered how much I loved music, and my favourite song was Sex Bomb by Tom Jones apparently, and I used to sing it in my nappies. Shortly after that we moved to Inverness and I started primary school, and my best friend was Sarah, and I absolutely loved primary school. I thought it was amazing. And then 4 years later we moved to a little village near Chester called Tatton Hall, and I absolutely loved it there, but I was so sad to move from Inverness. But this is actually around the time where I started to get really self-conscious of my weight and the fact that I wore glasses, and I'd get really down about it, and I think I was ugly, and then I was like, why am I fat? Because I ate burgers, so lol. Then I realised how much I loved sports, and I started to play things like tag rugby as well as swimming, which I actually started from a very young age as my mum swam in the Olympics, so she wanted us to be able to swim too. Then year 5 came around, and one of my best friends even now moved to Chester. Her name was Millie, and when we were younger we always used to have arguments over boys, especially one boy called Sam. We always used to argue over him, so yeah, memories. I was actually bullied the whole way through primary school by a girl, and I will forever be saddened by those memories. They just made me feel so worthless and horrible, and yeah. But year 6 came around and I played football because I thought I was some sort of Wayne Rooney or something, but I ended up standing on the ball, falling over and tearing all the tendons in my arm, so that was quite painful. But then I moved up to high school and I went to Bishop Heber High School, and I got my first boyfriend who I thought I'd actually be with forever, and I remember thinking that the whole time, but we actually broke up after like a week, so Then 2010 came around and I was 13 and we ended up moving to Scotland. But on my first day of my new school I met 2 of my bestest friends even now, called Caitlin and Morgan, and I'm so happy I met them because the first 3 weeks without them would have been absolute hell. They made it so easy for me. Then fast forward in a couple of years and I started to get really unwell, and I had a series of 6 bacterial infections in my throat, chest, stomach and ears within about 7 weeks, and after that it just kept on getting really bad. I was so sick and I felt horrible every single day, and then became seriously mentally sick too, and went through a lot, which meant I had to see a psychologist pretty much every week which I still actually have to see now. And I'm really scared about putting this live just because a lot of my best friends don't even know all this about me, but I feel like it's the right time to share it, and it's actually been quite therapeutic. And 1 year later, after spending almost every day in bed sleeping for like 20 plus hours, collapsing multiple times when I did eventually wake up, my mum having to help me do simple things like shower, brush my teeth, as I actually didn't physically have any energy or strength to do simple things like that. So after a year of that, not being able to sit exams, etc., getting blood tests every single week and MRI scans, and they finally diagnosed me with a condition called post-viral chronic fatigue syndrome, otherwise known as ME. There isn't actually a medical cure for this, but my mum and dad took me to a little place in Baracco in the middle of the fields, which gave me some literally magic herbal remedies. Totally boosted my immune system and made me so much more mobile and allowed me to do normal day-to-day things again and get back to school full time. But when I did eventually go back to school, I started experiencing feelings of anxiousness and really nervy, which isn't really like me, around lots of people, and felt really socially inept, which was probably due to the fact that I hadn't been at school full time in probably about a year. So I started freaking out inside my head, and I would go to the office and say things like I had a headache or a sore tummy so I could go home and wouldn't have to be at school. Then I started to see different psychologists and a different therapist for CBT and hypnotherapy. Then after a while, I really wanted to get a job, so I went through interviews and stuff, and I got my first job in Starbucks, which is so much fun to begin with, and I absolutely loved making the drinks. Frappuccinos were my fave, and the fast pace was always such a challenge, which I loved. I touched on this briefly in a previous video, but I'll explain it again. So basically, one day at school, me and my friends were just having lunch, minding our own business, when a girl who absolutely hated me for no reason I'm actually aware of. I hadn't actually spoken to her before that, so I didn't really understand it, but she stormed up to me in school and started shouting at me, and I had such a bad nervous laugh, which by the way did not come in very handy here. So I turned away giggling, and she grabbed my shoulder, turned around and literally punched me straight in the face. And that is her looking like a devil there, and I'm not confrontational at all, and on top of my extreme anxiety, this pushed me towards one of the worst panic attacks I've had in my whole life, and it took me so long to feel safe in the school after that, and I felt like most people in the school hated me, and I kind of really just wanted to leave, to be honest. I hated the school then. Then about a year later, I was going into my last year at school, and my older sister moved out, and I just literally remember crying for nights and nights and nights after she left, because it just wasn't the same without her, and I really missed her. I didn't want her to leave, but she was super excited to go to uni, and it isn't actually that far away. It's literally like 40 minutes, but she was super excited, and I really missed her. I still do. Then winter 2014 came around, and I remember a bunch of my friends and I were on a free period, and it started snowing outside, and we were so excited. So we all chipped in some money each and went to Sainsbury's and bought a Christmas tree, and we were all in our hats and scarves, and we were all wrapped up, and it was so cute. And the snowflakes outside were huge, and we decorated the tree with tinsel and baubles, and I think we got a star. I'm not quite sure. We might have put someone's face on the top. I can't really remember. And then a couple of months later, we had our exams, and then we left school, and I only missed one teacher pretty much, and it was Miss Lam. She was the best teacher ever, and she does watch my videos, so if you are watching Miss Lam, I hope I see you soon, and I hope you're really well. And there's me saying I miss Miss Lam. What a babe. And then October 2015 came around, and I wanted to do YouTube full time. I always knew I did, but I didn't know if I wanted to quit my job. But I ended up quitting just before I went on holiday because I really didn't get on with my manager, and we went to Dubai. And it was the most incredible holiday of my whole life. I loved it so much. So here is a couple of pictures from our holiday. And towards the end of our holiday, our family friends, Shona and Dean, got married, and it was the most incredible wedding. It was so beautiful. They both looked amazing, and that doesn't really do her justice. And that was her Louboutins. Really good drawing, Lucy. But yeah, she looked incredible. And then after I came home from Dubai, I started really worrying about my weight again, and I got so self-conscious. I started like crying every day, and even though I'd lost weight and I'd put on weight, my weight fluctuates so much, but I'm so conscious of it, and I ended up feeling really down and got worse and worse until one day I just said to my mum, look, I really need help. I need to go to the doctors. I don't feel well. I don't feel myself. And I was so sad all the time. I literally would cry every single day. I'd drop Amy at school. I'd cry on the way back. I'd have to stop the car because I couldn't do anything anymore. And I ended up going to the doctors, and I was like, look, I think I'm not right. It's not really me. I'm not sad. I'm emotional, but I don't cry for no reason. And this has been going on for about 7 or 8 months, I would say, probably more than 6 months. And he gave me some pills which have made me so much better. And recently I went to London again to see Emily, and I went to stay with Stella as well, and it was honestly the best time ever, and it's made me realise I really want to move to London, so that'll be the next thing on my list. I find friendships so valuable, and if you find people you really click with, do not let them go. Make sure you keep them close and take care of them. So yeah, that's me, Emily and Stella, squad goals obviously. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my home friends here. You guys know who you are, and thank you for looking after me when I've had a really rough time. You guys are the best. Love you all, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!